How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well today. So we've got a few things to cover in this episode, if you will. We're going to be covering Benavidez versus Andrade, which is scheduled to happen. It hasn't been signed yet, but fall. That's exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about the Shakur Lomachenko situation and Regis PROGRAIS and Devin Haney. Stay tuned.
Boxing.
Okay, shout out to all the subscribers. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I really appreciate it. Big up to anybody new locked in and welcome along. We're going to be covering this exciting sport once again. We've got some more what appears to be really good news. None of these fights have been signed yet, but I'm very optimistic, at least for two of them. And we'll start with the Benavidez Andrade fight, which this is the beautiful thing about boxing, right? We don't have a season per se, but you know, they're in the works behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden they just drop some news on you, like, and then we get this Benavidez Andrade that came out of nowhere for me anyway. And I think it's a really good fight. I'll just shed a little negativity on it, which I'm trying to just be as positive as I can in this video, but it's not a pay-per-view fight for me. It's a great headlining fight on Showtime, but not pay-per-view. You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons that hurts pay-per-view fights, because neither of them, to my knowledge, well, actually Benavidez is coming off pay-per-view, let's be honest, that's fair enough, but neither of them are champions. I know they have been champions, but Andrade hasn't pay-per-view. He's not really a ticket seller at all. You know, it's a close to pay-per-view, you know, but it's not for me. But that being said, it's still a really good fight. It's a very interesting fight. All right, Andrade in his last fight, you know, he looked quite lively. He did get dropped in that fight, actually. I'll pull the clip up now. And but look, he's an ambush fighter, man. He comes out to ambush you early, and he puts a hurt on you, drops you, you know, puts a little bit of doubt in you when he makes you not want to come in a little bit, because he can pop a little bit. But is he going to do that against Benavidez? Is he going to be able to? Because he's getting older now, Andrade, you know. So down the stretch, you would think that he's going to have to save a little bit. But at the same time, he's fought like that. And I can also see him doing that to Benavidez and having some success, because Benavidez does have it. Look, he's a really good fighter, but he has some balance issues here and there. And Andrade's wild, erratic power punches that, you know, you can't see might hit home. At the same time, Benavidez can counterpunch, which could neutralize Andrade's, you know, desire to come in and really let his hands go. But I think it's a fascinating fight. I really do. I can't wait for this one. Hasn't been signed yet. Let's be clear about that, just to make sure, you know, I don't want to give any false information out. It hasn't been signed yet, but they're talking about that in the fall. But when that fight gets made, I'll do a deeper cover on it, and, you know, have a little bit more analysis on Andrade, because, you know, he's had some interesting performances. He really didn't look great against Williams. At times early he did, but he faded a little bit, you know. He's up there too in age. And like I said, he just got dropped in his last fight, and he looked pretty wild and erratic, but I don't know if he can fight Benavidez like that for 12 rounds. No way. You know, he'll definitely get caught up with down the stretch, I think. But anyway, let's get on to this Shakur Lomachenko situation now. They've been back and forth a little bit, respectively. You know, obviously Haney was involved in this too. Shakur was the WBC mandatory. Haney is, you know, a lot of people think he ducked Shakur, but you know, the term duck gets thrown out there so quickly, but there is such a thing as like a business duck, which isn't necessarily the fighter. We all knew Haney was a little tight at the weight. You know, he wants to go up and win another belt off of Regis. That's a good opportunity. We're going to talk more about that in a minute, the Regis and Haney fight. But, you know, that fight with Shakur fell through for whatever reasons. You know, I'm not privy to the negotiations. A lot of people thought Haney didn't want that smoke. I mean, he's probably one of the most gifted fighter, I think, Shakur Stevenson. Been saying it for a long time that he's practically unbeatable. It's not, you know, rocket science. He's a damn good fighter. I remember I saw him at Madison Square Garden a few years ago. against that guy called the Smurf, Christopher, I forget his name. I'll put it on the thing down here. But it's no secret Stevenson is a special talent, you know, and he's just getting better and better. He's getting more entertaining, and you know, he is gonna be unbelievably hard to beat. I wouldn't favor Loma in that at all. Or maybe even like a few years ago, I probably would have still favored Shakur in Loma's prime, but it would have been way closer. It's still, I think it's still a competitive fight given how Loma performed in the Haney fight. But what's happened to the situation now? Obviously, Haney's gone up. Lomachenko politely declined and said he was waiting to rematch Haney or something of that nature. And now that opportunity's not there. Shakur's called him out again, saying he's scared. Now Loma's looking at, some people were saying retirement. He's got Shakur, or other people are saying Kambosos. Now, it's a tough situation to be in, really, isn't it? To have, you know, if he takes the Kambosos fight, people will say he ducked Shakur. All right. If he takes Shakur, he'll probably lose, to be honest with you. And their team, they probably think they can win the fight. Of course they do. You know, he's a great fighter. Lomachenko has been a great fighter, and he will go in the Hall of Fame all time, first ballot, no two ways about that, I think. You know, obviously he was an unbelievable amateur, and he's willing to take on the best 3-weight division champion. Got to take a hat off to him. You know, even you know, Shakur respects him hard in an interview I was watching. So, but they know the business. You know, Iglis, Klimas understand the situation. Shakur's the A side. They're both at top rank. Shouldn't be a hard match to make. But they know they're going to have to probably have to win 8 rounds against Shakur. Let's just be honest about the situation. They're not going to give a person who's out on the way out the nod. It's just, we know how boxing works. It is what it is. It's a business. We know this. So they know that. Lomachenko will probably think he can win. But realistically, are his team going to want to take that fight given the circumstances? I hope they do. And I'm still a little bit optimistic that they do. I've been so optimistic this year. I've been trying to manifest these big fights into you know, real life, and a lot of them have come through. I'm only missing 1 or 2. The Bivol better be one is like that's the one that's a little bit out of reach because of, you know, politics of, you know, the WBC. I won't even go there. But obviously the Fury Usyk one was another one. We never know on that one, but we'll see about this fight, because wow, talk about chess match in the Loma Haney fight. This is that on steroids. This would be an unbelievable chess match. I would have to look at a bit more film to see how it went, but you know, I think it's going to be harder for Loma to hit Shakur than it would be for him. He's obviously younger, fresher, and he's going from strength to strength. He's going through the gears. Look, Lomachenko looked great against Haney. I didn't have a problem. I had it a draw as I scored it. I actually had Haney winning, because I felt going into the 12th, it was pretty even. And I understand that if people were there live, I understand why they thought Loma won, you know, because it's easy to forget what happened in the early rounds, and it's easy to look at the rounds Loma was dominant in and go, oh yeah, he won the fight. When you're live at the fight, you're not really scoring it. So I get why so many fighters came out. But when you sit down and really look at it objectively, I personally didn't have an issue with either way. But I also understand why people really felt Loma won, especially if they were at the fight. But it is what it is. Let's hope that fight gets made, because that is a mouth-watering matchup. And that actually, the next fight I'm going to talk about, PROGRAIS against Haney. Mind the train. Shout out to all the subscribers that know that train's the one train from the Bronx down to downtown Manhattan, and it comes by quite frequently at this time of day. It goes up and down, so it gets interference, but it gives it a bit of atmosphere. But that fight, the PROGRAIS Haney fight, is now come about because Haney swerved. Oh, let me take that back. Freudian slip. Moved up to and he's apparently his belt is in recess, so if, you know, once he's done with the PROGRAIS fight, I guess he gets to decide what to do, because we know the WBC and most of the sanctioning belts just make up their mind as they go along. But that seems fair. He's fighting for PROGRAIS WBC belt. I made a video about that separately in a bit more detail. I'll leave the link here in case you want to watch that. But basically, PROGRAIS mad, all right? He signed the contract. I'll show you the clip now.
Man, they got some pussy in this fight game right now. So, you know, me and Haney supposed to fight, right? We agreed on date. We agreed on everything. And now they trying to move the date and stuff like that. The Haneys, I know y'all smart, but y'all some smart bitches at the same time. Y'all pulling some dirty shit, bro. Y'all trying to pull, not dirty, y'all trying to pull some slick shit, but we ain't going for that.
He is mad. He's upset about something. I don't know exactly what he's upset about. Who does know? These are the dark arts in action of trying to get the edge or whatever it is. Trying to. I don't really know. I heard a rumor about them not wanting to fight on the same day as Ngannou and Fury. That makes no sense because that'll be in England or Saudi Arabia. Is that different time zone? Completely different time zone. So that shouldn't affect it. But I liked seeing PROGRAIS so mad because it means he really wants to fight. And I said in that video, I was like, when PROGRAIS loses, when he lost his belt, he has that fire in him, you know. And I know he didn't lose his last fight, although a lot of people did think he did. He didn't perform well, and he's under pressure, and he wants to, you know, wrong the right. And I know he put that video out of him very weight drained a few days before weighing or something like that. I can't remember. Was just to show his struggles and what he went through. So it's clear to see he probably wasn't at his best, but I think stylistically was a big part of that. So I would favour Haney in this fight quite comfortably, to be honest, just given his ability to have his great step back game, a good jab, his IQ, his computer processing is faster. You know, PROGRAIS is good and athletic and twitchy too, and he can punch as well. He's a southpaw, but you know, look, he's just coming off fighting a better southpaw, to be honest, Lomachenko. So he would have, I know they fight differently, but still pretty good good practice to get 12 rounds with one of the best southpaws and then face another southpaw. Obviously Haney's going to be bigger. It's a good fight. More good fights for an absolutely sensational year of boxing. This year we are getting spoiled, and I have got more videos coming out. I'm kind of all over the place. Shout out to all the new subscribers locked in, and big up to all the old subscribers. I just kind of do videos on the limb. I'll let you know what's coming up because I'm really excited about these projects. I've got, and I don't know when they're coming out because they're big projects. I've got a documentary on the rise of the Uzbekistan boxers, rise of the Uzbeks. That's a little look into, you know, the flourishing scene of Uzbeki fighters, amateurs and pro as well, and what to expect in the future. I've got a little film study on Dimitri Bivol's punching technique. I've got a Barclays. I need to go down to the Barclays Center and shoot that. I'm going to do a documentary on that, boxing at the Barclays, which is a decent project because that's where all the fights are in Brooklyn now, or at MSG, but that's been a newish venue. And I've been there a few times. It's quite exciting, and I thought I'd do a video about it. And then I've just got a bunch of random stuff, you know, on the fly type things. I want to cover more punch tutorials and techniques on the main channel. I've got a lot of shorts that I do on boxing technique. Shout out to the guys that watch that and girls. And I just try to get the best I can. Do you know what I mean? Try to be the best version of me, and I really appreciate anybody that's tuned in and watched so far. And if you are new, hit that subscribe button and then hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. It's got to come from here though, you know. I'm covering boxing from the heart, and I want it to come from the heart from the people that are watching it as well. So leave a comment about any of these fights. Let me know your thoughts. Enjoy whatever fights are on this week. I know AJ's fighting. I know there's a Showtime card. I think Gary Antoine Russell's on there. Rodriguez, I'll be watching that. I'll probably do a video on the AJ Helenius fight as well. So stay tuned for that. Peace and love. Boxing on the edge. I'm out of here.
Boxing.
On the edge.